Welcome back, family. It's officially the episode 3 of the Fitness Headspace Podcast, hosted by none other myself, Deion Avril, from Evolve Fitness, where we get fit and we don't quit. And of course, I always like to start this podcast by telling everybody how genuinely appreciative I am in regards to you just taking the time to listen to this podcast. You could be doing anything else, of course, liking it, sharing, subscribing. If you could do that for me as well, I'd greatly appreciate it. We're trying to bang up this algorithm and get up on the charts in regards to people receiving this information. We don't really care about the views. We just want to make sure that people are getting this information because it's quality. So today's episode, today's episode, what we're going to be focusing on is fitness for beginners. Okay, so the last 2 episodes, we kind of dug into the psychology really deep on certain things, and as you can see, everything is intertwined. So now we're going to get more into the fitness aspect, just solely fitness, a little bit of psychology as well, but we're going to flip the script a little bit today, keep you entertained. Now, with that being said, one of the most important things to understand is that it's really important that you start off on the right foot in regards to the information that you're trying to obtain, dissect, and apply. And what I mean by that is, as obvious as this might seem, because I like to say it's common sense, but it's not common practice. Okay. So if it's something like you have somebody that can help you, that's one thing. But if you're somebody that's brand new to the gym and whatnot, it's more important now than later, in my opinion, that you dissect the information as much as possible and understand as much as possible, because it'll save you time later on down the road. So for example, working with a coach that has 7, 8, 10 years of experience, I'm not saying it's going to save you 10 years, but clearly it's going to save you at least a decent amount of time compared to what you would be doing by yourself. Because again, this person has had the opportunity to train with other people, be in certain predicaments, and have certain obstacles that they had to overcome. So now they know how to approach some of the things. I'm not going to say everything, but a majority of the things that you might be going through, and help you out throughout that journey. Why wouldn't you want to do that at the beginning? Now, I know for some people, it's like, and as a guy speaking, sometimes it's the pride, it's the ego. We're like, man, we're dudes. We know what we're doing. We just got to go in there and pump it out, watch a few videos and do it that way. But at the same time, again, this is more on the longevity aspect. Like, do you want to lift just for the next 5, 10 years, or do you want to lift for the rest of your life and still be healthy while you're doing that and maintaining a decent amount of muscle mass as much as possible? I think that makes more sense in my opinion, because again, the one thing that you want to avoid is injuries. If you just basically don't want to put yourself in a position to cause any injuries, especially if you already have some. What we want to do is focusing on rehabilitating, getting that area stronger, everything around it stronger, and then progressing moving forward. So that's one of the first things, all right? When it comes to other aspects as far as learning, there's going to be things like you'll go to one gym, things will be slightly different. So a lot of it is, it's going to be in the process, like throughout the whole process itself. So I've been to multiple gyms. Certain gyms don't have certain machines. Certain gyms have the machine, but it's from a different brand. So everything is completely different as far as the weight displacement and all these other things that people don't think about. So be in a position to learn and be open and learn how to switch things on the fly. So when you're watching these videos or whatever the case is, just be mindful of everything that I'm telling you. Take everything with a grain of salt, including what I'm saying if you don't believe anything I'm saying, and test it. Try things out, see what works. If it doesn't work, pull it out, swap it, and see what else that you could compensate it with that'll still be as effective. So something to think about. Now, to segue into where you should be getting this information. Now, these are not just the only places that I would suggest. These are just the top, how many do I have? I actually do have 10. These are the top 10 channels that I personally use, and I can attest that these are for sure these dudes. And unfortunately, there's no ladies on here, but some of the ladies are usually featured in their videos. So they do have a best of both worlds with no problems of that nature. So the first person that I would suggest is Jeff Nippard. So that's JEFFNIPPARD. I believe that's how it's spelled. So Jeff Nippard, if you just look him up, I promise you you'll find him. He's probably one of the most popular guys on YouTube right now, besides a couple of other guys I'm going to mention. And I think it's really important to follow certain people in a sense of what I really like about Jeff. I'll try to make it as quick as possible and get back into what we're talking about. The one thing about Jeff that I like, and a couple other guys, like I said on here as well, they're really big on literature. The best part about it is that this is something that they have to publish. So this is clear evidence. This is exactly what's going on. This is what's been affected, how it works, why doesn't it work, and how things should be applied. So I love the fact that he brings the facts, the cold hard facts. Like literally anytime you see his videos, he's always bringing it up, and I have to give him props on that. The next person, it's a company, Renaissance Periodization. That could be for a beginner, intermediate, and as well as an advanced person. So you kind of have best of all worlds, and Dr. Mike is not the only person on there, but he's the guy that for me is like, dude, I wish this was my college professor, because if this was a situation, I literally would be in school for this in particular, and I find it so intriguing. It's so interesting. So just think about that as another option. The third person is Omar Isuf. The fourth person, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I had more than I expected. I just didn't number that one. So right now we have Jeff Nippard, Renaissance Periodization. Number 3 would be Omar Isuf. Number 4 would be Athlean X. Then I have Juggernaut Training, Shredded Sports Science, John Meadows for the bodybuilder community, Alan Hall, kind of overall but powerlifting community, Squat University, and this is more of the, I don't want to say not necessarily corrective exercise, but it's more so understanding the pattern of your body, just the mechanics of it, how you move naturally, how to make the adjustments, if something is hurting, how to, rehabilitate. It's kind of like PT as well. So I always suggest people to have a couple stretching channels, a couple PT channels, a couple of other channels as well that are related, like outside related to the fitness community, because they intertwine with each other. And I saved the best for last. That for me would be the best for last would have been like Jeff, the Renaissance Periodization team, and last but not least, which I'm going to say right now, is Brett Contreras, the glute guy. So ladies and men, all right, but primarily ladies, if you want to see somebody who knows about glutes and really give you the most top-notch and best glute workouts, go follow Brett Contreras. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I use a lot of his stuff as well too, like as far as understanding the muscle groups, the anatomy of the glutes, how they work and what planes, how to activate, just literally understanding all angles, and over time how to develop and grow bigger and stronger glutes, which is important for a lot of people as well. So take these 11 people in regards to channels, write them down, or just type them in real quick and look for them. I'm sure you'll find them. But these are people that I would definitely suggest to start out with. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about something that people really don't touch base on as much because they tend to want to do it on their own. And that's how to find the right gym / or trainer. It would be kind of best of both. Because as a fitness as a fitness coach, it's important that we understand what the client is looking for. But not only just that, we have to also be able to show our value and what we could bring to the table, so together we could achieve your goal. Makes perfect sense. Now, if you're looking for a trainer, there's many ways to find them. I would suggest starting with social media. Now, for example, myself, I'm actually working on a website, so I don't have a full website together just yet, but usually it's going to look a lot better and it looks more professional if a coach has a site, a separate entity from social media. So we could see testimonials, we could see what you offer. I want to see galleries. I want to know about your story. I want to know you. I want to be able to know you before I speak to you or see you. if that makes sense. And the other ways that you can find people, which is, it's fairly simple. I mean, of course you have Google, you have apps like Thumbtack. I ran into Thumbtack for something random one day and I was just like, oh, let me see what's on here. And they do have training sessions on there. So for people who are familiar with Thumbtack, or you're not, go ahead and go on there. It's kind of like a freelance, kind of like Fiverr. And I'm sure there's other websites like that as well. But I know Thumbtack and Fiverr are like the top two that I know are really, really big for freelance work. Now, the one thing that I always suggest, I've just always been that type of person. I always check reviews. I like to call the place. So if it's a big box gym, I want to call the place and see if they offer any free trials, 3, 4, 5, 7 day trial, just to get a feel of the gym and see if I want to move forward with that particular location. Now, if I'm there and I'm looking for a coach, I want to know that, hey, does this place offer a free assessment? So I can sit down with the coach and just talk to him and see what are the first initial steps that need to be taken moving forward before we work together. So these are things that I would look into, especially if you're looking for a trainer or a gym, either one of those. Because, for example, for the coach, you want somebody that can push you, but you also want somebody, based on the person, somebody might not want to be pushed that hard. Some people might. Some people just need the support itself. They don't need you to do anything else, just making sure that you hold them accountable. So it just depends on what you're working with as things are coming down the road, but you just want to make sure that you bring some type of awareness to all of this at the beginning, so there's no discrepancies or misunderstanding or miscommunication towards, like, let's just say later on down the road that could have been avoided, if that makes sense. So just something to think about. Now, one of the big ones, this one right here, as you can see, I'm sighing. It's like I had to just take a deep breath because this is so important to me, like really important. And my clients know this as well too. I always tell all of my clients when we first start, we're documenting this whole journey in a sense of pictures first and foremost. And they're like, wait, what? I don't want to send you pictures. I'm like, you don't have to send me the pictures. Just keep them. Just make sure you have them, because I'm trusting you to have those pictures at the end of this whole thing. So the first reason why I think it's really important to document your fitness journey is because it gives you a different perspective of your progress. Because what happens is a lot of people think that we lose weight linearly. So, or I should say in a linear fashion. And so, for example, let's say that the scale went down 2 pounds this week and the scale goes down 2 more pounds the next week, and it just continues and it just stops out of nowhere, and you just plateau for the next 3-4 weeks. So people don't understand that the scale doesn't work that way. You don't just lose 2 pounds every week. There's just other different lifestyle factors that you got to put into consideration. So with that being said, you need to, in my opinion, take these pictures, because as you progress moving forward, you don't have to worry about the linear aspect of things. So some people think that they're losing weight, or they think they're not losing weight, but they feel like they don't see anything change. I said, okay, cool. Or I say, okay. I'll tell them, when was the last time you took a picture? I haven't. Okay, cool. I need you to take a before picture right now. And every month moving forward, we're going to take another picture. And these are just for general people speaking, and we're not talking about bodybuilders or anything in particular. So the issue comes back to the fact of, did you take your pictures to notice a difference? So some people, I'll tell people, take a picture of your back, right? And they're like, dude, I don't know if I lost weight. And I put both pictures side by side. I'm like, so here you go. You don't see that your back is actually thinning, as far as like you're getting more of a V taper. We're seeing, the sides get a little bit tighter, whatever the case is. And they're like, oh, wow, I didn't even think of doing this to look at that. And it's like, yeah, there's different ways to measure your progress. It's like I always tell people, the scale, I don't even care for the scale at this point, but I'd like to use it as a stepping, like not a stepping stone, but a reference point. So for me, I'm going by how you look, because I can tell for the most part when I see people enough times, frequently enough, if they're dropping water weight, because they'll hold it around their face. And from there, we'll also take measurements. Measurements are key, guys. Measurements are key, or is key. So if you haven't done that, start doing it. That'll make a huge difference. Night and day difference, I promise you. The next thing is accountability, because now you know that you have to weigh in every week. You know you have to take pictures on a month-to-month basis. You also shouldn't want to let yourself down. You shouldn't let other things, outside factors, take control of your journey in regards to where you plan on going moving forward when it comes to your fitness goals. Things are going to happen. Life happens. It happens to all of us, especially me. Hey, as we say in French, c'est la vie. It's life. You gotta get up. You gotta roll with the punches, man. You gotta make it happen. So that accountability is that for example, I could send a motivational text, but knowing that you have to take pictures and follow up with yourself is one of those things that will really be like, oh, okay. It's one of those things like, all right, cool. I know that this is something I have to do now. This is for me. And we got to keep it going. We got to keep it pushing. My favorite one is an opportunity to inspire others. And I mean, it speaks for itself. So you could look at this experience as a form of motivation for others that might have just started the process, that are currently in the process, or having trouble with seeing what they have to do, and just being caught up in the fact that they're not seeing the weight change, they're not seeing this, they're not seeing that, what they're not seeing, but they don't take the time to acknowledge what they have accomplished. So again, it still has to do with changing your perspective when it comes to applying yourself to reach your goals. Fitness speaking, of course. And the last portion of that is just finding out what works for you. So as you're documenting everything, and this is where I come into play with drilling it into anybody that I work with. If there's anything that anybody will ever learn from me moving forward, if we're not working together anymore, is that I always have everybody document everything, especially their workouts. So look at your workout as a progress report card. Okay, so let's just say you have one progress report every time that you leave the gym to show your progress from the last time that you came in, session-wise, more so to say. So as we're looking at your progress report card, if I'm noticing that you're declining in strength, which would be equivalent to, I don't know, like not necessarily intelligence, but somebody not studying or not being focused and now getting a C instead of a B or an A, it's like, okay. So basically the thing is that it just gives you the opportunity to figure out what works. Okay. So in the event that you are documenting everything and you're tracking all your weights and you're like, yo, I could clearly see that this exercise is just not for me, I could pull that out and then swap it out with something else for you. So you have to understand what does and what does work for you and the things that don't. Because in the event that something doesn't, you have to learn how to adjust on the fly if needed be, but still have a really good understanding of what works for you and how to apply it moving forward with the things that you made adjustments to. Okay. So those are the few things. Now, guys, we're at the end. All right. So there's a couple of things that I wish that I knew before I joined the gym. So I'd like to share a few of them with you. Because although these are going to sound very cliche, but these are real things that were going on my mind at like 18, 19, of course. And it's going to be the same thing with whatever age that you're at, especially if you're getting into the gym and you don't have a full understanding of not even just fitness, but how your body works, how to genuinely lose weight the right way and not some crazy, 4-week plan, 6-week plan to drop crazy weight for the wrong reasons. Not like you're competing or anything. So here we go. Number 1, no results will happen overnight. You've heard this. I've heard this. I say, like it was said as well, was Rome wasn't built in a day, and your body won't be either. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. You have to communicate with your body to see what works best with your body and what your body will accept, in a sense of say, all right, cool, I like this. I could feel it here. This is what we're going to work on. Let's keep doing this. Now, that goes into the second part. You're going to have to experiment and see what works for you, which I mentioned it earlier as well. You can go in the gym and follow anybody's plan, but just because they're a bodybuilder doesn't mean that it's going to work specifically for you and your genetics as well too, or your mobility. Because, for example, some people just don't have that, or not even just that in particular. I would say the range of motion that these guys use for some of the stuff, I don't ever plan on doing another upright row in my life, because I love my shoulders so much to where I've had an impingement before, and I'm like, I'm not going to ever do that again, because I know what doesn't work for me. Number 3, this actually should be number 1. Nutrition is key. You cannot make any gains without nutrition. You cannot recover without the proper nutrition. You cannot fuel your body for a workout without proper nutrition. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your sleep makes a notable difference. Okay, so whether you're young or old, just make sure that you're getting enough sleep on average, 7 to 8 hours if you can. Some people can't. I know for me, I'm always busy, so it's like 5 to 6 on a light day. And then the days that I don't have to go out early, I still wake up early either way, because my body is used to it. But just understand that your sleep is going to be where a lot of growth and recovery is going to help. Will happen, not help, but it's going to happen there. So the sleep will technically help you recover. Now, the next one is understanding the exercises that you're going to use, what they work with in regards to how to connect with the muscle on a mental level as well too. So if I'm doing So if I'm doing something for my quads, let's say leg extensions, I need to know what exactly this is. So knee extension, okay, not knee flexion, but knee extension is what's helping me activate the top of my leg, which is my quadriceps, which is 4 different muscle groups, or muscles, more so to say, within the top of your leg. Now, with that being said, you just want to know the basics of these movements and what they work on, what to do and what not to do, and how to continue doing it efficiently. Because I see way too much, like, for example, I actually seen somebody do a squat before, and this is on a video, has thousands of likes, and his right knee was buckling, like it was knee valgus, which is where your knees are caving in towards each other, and it was wobbling a little bit, and I was just like, that's concerning that nobody really notices that small little thing. But as a coach, of course I will, but what I'm saying is as an influencer, you should. So now when people from the normal population that wants to learn how to work out and whatnot, and they're following this and they think that this is okay, this is normal, and it's not. Same thing with the hip thrust. I've seen people throw on 450 pounds of crazy heavy ass weight and hip thrust and look like they're pump humping. So it's no good range of motion. The form was not great at all either. So it's just a lot of different things that you want to think about. Now, following a plan and tracking your progress. Guys, I've already mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. Make sure you track your progress. There's nothing more important than understanding where you are as of right now, or I should say where you started, where you plan on going as well. So having that documentation will give you an idea of your progress and what's working, what's not working, and when we need to make any adjustments if need be. And the last one is going to be, just because you're taking supplements, that is not going to be the end all be all. I promise you that is not a thing. If anybody knows, I think out of anybody that I know personally, I think I've spent the most money on just supplements. I remember at one point when I was in Tampa, I was spending almost $250 every month on just supplements. This is pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, a BCAA. I was taking L-carnitine. I was taking, which is not a bad thing. I was taking a, was it a hormone optimizer? I don't remember what I was taking at the time, but those are the main things. So pre, intra, post. And then I have my Hydra Charge, which was the kind of like, it was just hydration more so. It has like coconut water, well, coconut powder and all this other stuff in there. And yeah, I was thinking about like 7 to 10 different products. I have pictures of them. It looks beautiful until that money hit my account. I'm just like, oop. But again, you don't need them to reach your goal ultimately. Yes, it will give you a slightly cutting edge, maybe by like 10-15%. And for some people, that 10-15%, when you're really lean, then hell yeah, like of course I'm going to tell you to take something that'll make you look lean and that will reduce your cortisol levels, which is your stress levels. Of course I'm going to tell you to do that towards the end of your prep. But in the event that that's not you, you don't necessarily need that. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm going to recommend any supplements as of right now, I guess this is going to be just the trainer tips aspect of it right now. The first thing is first, get a multivitamin. Okay. Make sure that you are sufficient in regards to how much minerals and vitamins you have within your body, and make sure that you're at the daily value. There's no question about it. Fish oil, if you're a person that you're not eating fish or anything of that nature, so making sure that you get a decent fish oil. I wouldn't go to Walmart. Look for some places online. Make sure that it's properly dosed, because that's another issue that I think, what is it, DHA or DHEA? I can't remember the specifics, but they do break it down and give you the amount if you do some research online. And another thing would be creatine. Creatine helps with a multitude of different things, but primarily let's just keep it at it's basically filling your cells up with a little bit more water, but it's also helping you with ATP production, which in layman's terms, all I'm saying right now is that it will help you retain your muscle mass. Okay. It'll also help with endurance slightly from what they were showing in studies. I could be wrong. Double check again, just to make sure. I don't make those type of videos. So that'll be something to think about. So creatine, fish oil, multivitamin, and a protein shake I like to use sparingly, and this is more in the case of convenience. So some of my clients, they have a situation where they don't have time to eat because they're out on the road. Like their job is literally on the road, in a sense of they have to go out, walk from store to store and talk to people and things of that sort. Then I'll tell her, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, use that as a convenience factor. Go ahead and down one of those. You could down one of them later, or do both together and have approximately 50 grams of protein all at once. Why wouldn't you want to do that? But again, only use it sparingly. So these are the reasons why I would say you can buy all this stuff, but you don't necessarily need all this stuff. The pre-workout, that's optional as well, along with the post-workout, because the post-workout you can make your own. You could, put some PB2. You could put a couple of different fruits that aren't too crazy in regards to the amount of sugar. You'll have your carbs there. You could get some additional fats if you want to add some in there. So you can make it work for you. It just depends on what you want to do. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, the pre-workout, it's not necessary. Do I take a pre-workout? Honestly, not all the time. If anything, I take more of a nitric oxide matrix, which is just not even a matrix, but something that helps with the pump more so. Because the pre-workouts, most people just feel the caffeine. If I need caffeine, bro, I'll just take some caffeine pills or something, so you have that option. But in the event of what I'm talking about right now, pre-workout would be necessary if you just have one of those like grind through the mud days. So if we hitting a stupid heavy leg day, then absolutely. Stupid heavy back day, then yeah. Chest, I guess. Like I wouldn't do it on an arm day, clearly. No arms, no shoulders, no calf days. It's just counterproductive. You're wasting your money at this point. You're drinking it away. So that would be my recommendation for sure. Multivitamin, creatine, fish oil, and then your post-workout shake on the convenience aspect. Last but not least would be a pre-workout if you just need that extra pump. Or again, you can find something that's primarily just a pump matrix, or a pump product, I should say. Let me stop using matrix because I have a reason why I don't want to use matrix. But a pump product that'll help you achieve that same type of feel as if you were on a pre-workout, but without all the jitters, and you'll be able to go to sleep. Feels me? So, ladies and gents, it has been a phenomenal time with you guys. We're now breaking the 30-minute mark. Not that it really matters, because when we have lovely things to say, we'll say them until we are done. But I just wanted to, again, thank you all for taking a stop to listen. Once again, if you could just like, share, subscribe on your Facebook, on your IG, on your TikTok, to the TikTok, you feel me? And the one thing that I wanted to also make you guys aware of is that we will have a special guest coming on next week. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, there's gonna be probably like 3 or 4 parts of it, and we're just gonna be pumping that out. So just be ready for that. Like I said, there's some things going on right now in a very positive way. There's some things going on, big things. So we just keep it silent and moving like bosses move. And with that being said, I just want to tell you guys thank you once again, and you all have a phenomenal day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is that you're listening to this. And just remember, stay strong, stay hungry, stay healthy, stay smooth, and get fit, because you don't quit ever. I'm out.